In this video, I'm going to show you how to do isometric drawing. So this is the most common way of drawing in 3D in DT. It's the best way of presenting things because you can see more sides than other methods. And it uses 30-degree angles. Now you can notice straight away I'm not measuring my angles at all, I'm just guessing. That's because I've done this so many times that I can kind of guesstimate what it should be. So this will be slightly more challenging for you because this might be brand new to most of you. So that there is isometric. So why is it isometric? Well, if I was to get a protractor and measure these angles, although they are slightly different on mine because I'm guesstimating, they should be 30 degrees. Now how does that differ to what maybe we've done before? So before we did oblique, so I'm going to freehand this for sake of speed. So we did a 2D shape and then we did 45-degree angles coming off of that. Okay, so already we can see there's a huge difference between these two. It's like taking this and twisting it more. Okay, so we can actually see equal amounts of three sides. So you can use a set square. Okay, a set square kind of looks like that. There's a few different types. They come in mass sets, because this is often something you do in maths. And that is the one for isometric, and it should say on it 30 degrees or isometric. Okay. So to do your vertical lines, you would align that, so you twist it, and that would be parallel to the bottom of your page. Or to do these angled lines, you have that parallel with the bottom of your page, and obviously you can flip it over to do whatever side you want to do. So that's one way of doing it accurately. The other way is isometric paper. So there's two different types, and you can print some off. I'll put some links in. And you can print some off if you've got a printer and have a go using that. I find it more complicated. I find that some students find it more complicated, and it's something that we maybe use as like the baby steps to begin with, and then we always move on to doing it more freehand. I mean, preferably we would use a set square all the time. We do have some tools that we can use, such as the ISO sketch. So you might have seen these in my classroom. So we can use these as well. But ultimately, we want to be able to draw it pretty much freehand, and then that's going to speed up our working process quite a lot. So to freehand this, you've got to think we've got a 90-degree angle there. So that angle there is 90. Okay. Then halfway is 45. So if we want 30, it's probably about there. Okay, it's not quite halfway between those, it's just a bit up above. So 30 degrees, probably about there. We should be making our lines really that steep. So I always start off with a V. That's how I always start off my isometric drawings. And then you always have verticals as well. And then making sure that these lines are parallel. Yeah, so the distance between these should be exactly the same if I was to measure that. That's 74, that's about 74. The common mistake people make is they just draw their lines and then they want to draw it to the top of the line, because that's where their line ends, so they think they have to join it up there. That wouldn't be right, because that's not parallel, because from there to there's about 85, from there to there's about 75. So it should always be parallel. It should be a 30-degree line, like that, okay? So far I've only used 3 different lines to create all of this. I've got my vertical line, okay, my vertical, which is parallel to the edge of my page. Okay, it's not wonky. Okay, so I've got my vertical line, and then I've got my 30-degree lines. I've got one that goes off to the left, and I've got one that goes off to the right. Every single line that you see on this page that's been done using isometric is made up of one of those 3 lines, nothing else, okay? None of these random wonky lines. So even though this is quite complex, remember there are only 3 different types of lines here. Okay, our vertical, our 30 degrees to the right, our 30 degrees to the left.